Welcome back to the Unleashing. I'm your host, Jared Beeler. The war drums are beating faster and faster. I just saw that after China deployed a whole bunch of naval vessels and stuff down to the South China Sea, we're sending 3 carrier groups down there. I mean, it's escalating so fast now as we keep getting closer to Israel's 70th year generation since they've been a nation in 1948. Man, this stuff, I don't know how much longer it's going to take. I have a feeling it could go down before, right after, right around the same time. It's hard to say. Trump, I saw, and this is kind of what I want to talk about. Trump has now planning on pulling the troops out of Syria and putting them on the southern border down there to watch out for Mexico and stuff. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, this is a multiple fold event here. By pulling the troops out of Syria and sticking them down there at the border to use for border security and stuff for the wall, that same tactic can be used as a southern defense because China and other groups have had secret military groups down there in Mexico that would come across if a world war were to break out or something like that, and it would be a southern defense. So it would be an excuse to go down there and say it's for the southern wall without causing too much chaos to the American public. It would be freaking out if we told them, hey, we're about to go to war right now. And most of the public doesn't know. I mean, I'll be going to a coffee shop, probably uploading this video, and when I'm in there I see the same thing every weekend. People planning their marriages, going about their daily lives. Everything seems completely hunky-dory and they have no idea. If you were to talk to them about this, they'd be like, what? Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. We're supposed to be getting married in June. This could break off any day. So really, I know, but at the same time, they were given in marriage just like in the days of Noah. The same thing is going on. People are oblivious, and then the flood happened. People are going to be oblivious, and the tribulation is going to start. It's not years and years off. We're getting closer every single day. While we take the troops out of Syria, this is the important part. If we do that and we go down there, nobody's going to be there. Russia, Turkey, and Iran can do their diabolical scheme. They want to invade Israel. Now, China might be involved in this by team up with Russia to cause a distraction over in the South China Sea so that it pulls our interests away because they want to get down there. They might be planning on sharing in that commodity of Israel, that oil find they have in the Golan and stuff like that. With the Gaza stuff, that's only going to heat things up more with the conflict breaking out there, which they're doing themselves like usual. The Palestinians and everything else, they're causing trouble like usual for Ramada. What that's going to do, though, is just keep escalating things because Israel's going to have to retaliate. Then Iran's going to use that as an excuse. Oh, we're so mad at you. You need to pay the price. Well, if we're not over there, this could fulfill the Ezekiel 38 prophecy when it says that nobody's there to defend Israel. They only watch and they say, what, have you come to take a spoil? What's the reason you're going in there for? And because of how close it looks, and the Psalm 83 war, like I say, I believe completely completed in 67, the Gog and Magog war would be the next one in line. And since the players are on the table for that, and it's only picking up more, Russia's sending more troops down in there, 70,000 more. They want more territory as well. Everything's playing out for World War III. Is this Gog and Magog war going to be a part of World War III? There's a possibility it could be just an aspect of it at the same time. Or it could be a little bit different. I don't know, though, because the stuff is close as things are getting. It really looks like it would all break loose at the same time. Now, is this war going to be the second seal, the red horse during the tribulation? If so, we would be getting out of here possibly in the rapture right before that. Or if that kid's vision that we go up the same time the bombs are coming down of when he was taken to heaven or whatever, then that would mean that we would go sometime right before the second seal burst, but after the first seal, somewhere around the first start of the tribulation, whenever it starts. Could this push back into the fall around the Feast of Trumpets? Possibly, but I don't know. It's going so fast, and with the 70-year generation coming up, and that being the same time as Pentecost, we could see fulfillment of Pentecost being when the rapture is taking place and we're taken out of here, kind of like the same time the Holy Spirit came down. Do I believe that the feast days have stuff to do with it? Yes, I absolutely do, because they were fulfilled in line. And so the next one would be Feast of Trumpets, unless it was a completion of Pentecost, possibly. The reason that I said it looked like it was Feast of Trumpets last September was because of everything falling into that place. Not only from the pyramid angles, the eclipse that took place 30 days prior, being a year of 2,550 days, or where it lines up for 7 years for the tribulation on it. Everything else that took place at the time, the Revelation 12 sign, all of that, it's like, well, it's really, really pointing towards it. So I'm going to have to give this some serious credence. Of course, we did, and did anything happen? We don't know. The timeline could have stopped right there, and stuff's been picking up ever since. So it's hard to say. But I still believe that is marking like the end time clock, and from that point on, things were getting into it. From that point on, it was about to break loose, which is exactly what's happening. Troops around the world, everybody's preparing for war in every single country. It looks like it's about to take place. It's going to be a big World War III. It's going to be huge. Like I say, is it part of the seals? I think so, because if you have a huge World War III, it's going to be pretty hard that there's going to be a war from the second seal right after, unless it's some other kind of war that we don't know about. But it doesn't sound like it. It makes it sound like it's a war of the world. So anyways, but if we pull out of Syria and go down there on that Mexican border, that's going to open it up for the Gog and Magog to happen. Now, on a more diabolical front, are we using an excuse to keep away from the public to be going into a war with North Korea or China to pull us out of Syria so that Russia can go down into Israel because we're secretly against them and we're not their friends? That could be a possibility too. You just don't know, because there are darker forces at work that are playing things behind the scenes, and they want Israel. Israel's the big prize. It's where God's going to end up ruling from, Jesus on his throne from Jerusalem. It's going to be the capital of the world. They want it for themselves because Satan's the ultimate copycat, and they want to put that Antichrist in there, okay? They got their plan. The guy that came forward that was part of Secret Service security, and he said that one of the guys pulled him apart or away one night and asked him, you ever heard of the Spirit of Destiny? Yeah, I know something about. Well, we've had it. We've had it for a long time. Of course, Hitler was after that, all right? He said it was talking to him. I'm sure it was some demon possession conversation he was having. But anyways, they haven't, supposedly their God, the Antichrist, is going to go into the third temple when it's built. Yes, it's an actual temple because they were even mentioning it then. They're working on it right now. They're trying to pass it through. It's part of this deal that's going on over in Israel right now. Yes, it is a real temple, okay? And the Antichrist is going to go in there, and then halfway through the tribulation, he's going to cut himself with that, all right? 7-year tribulation, not 3.5, because it's halfway through, okay? By that time, the two witnesses are going to be there, okay? They get killed and taken up. So anyways, this stuff is just heating up, though, quicker and quicker. I mean, every day now I'm watching it, and I'm just seeing it unfold. And I don't know how much longer it could take. Will they cause this war, or will this war take place before Israel's 70th generation? That's a possibility too. We could see it take place in April, just starting off here in the next week or whatever. It's hard to say when it could break, or it could drag on a little bit longer than we're expecting. But if it were to take place first, that would be the excuse they need for a peace treaty, a worldwide peace treaty, which the Antichrist would be performing with everybody, where he tries to bring them together. But if that happens, then that would mean that there is a war that takes place, because the peace treaty is what starts the 7-year tribulation. A man of peace comes in, and then the second seal would be another war that breaks out, happens. So maybe it would be just like a partial war, and then the real war takes off. We don't know. But the way things are looking, I mean, geez, this whole thing's about ready to break loose at any time. So if it is a second seal, and it takes place, and it's around the 70th generation, or 70 years, then we'll probably see that peace deal made in May, at probably around the time that we bring in our embassy or whatever, whoever is going to sign that deal. And after that, we're either out of here right before that or right after that in the rapture. And we'll see. We're seeing it coming, though. Right now, it's taking off faster and faster, and the world technically is oblivious to it. They really don't. They are not paying attention. They don't care, because Trump's in charge and everything's going to be taken care of. Nobody's really watching this stuff, except for the few out there like me and others that and watchmen that are paying attention to this stuff, and they see it happening, because all those that are looking for the return of Christ so that we can get out of here are definitely paying attention to this stuff, because these are the end time signs we're told to look up for, or to look and see, because when we do look up for your redemption draweth nigh, and that's what we want. We want to get out of here. We want to get out of this place. All right, this isn't our home. We're ambassadors, and just like an ambassador during wartime, all right, you're in a diplomatic in a far off country. Before this stuff happens, boom, we come and we grab you out, unless it's a Benghazi situation, okay, America. But Christ is the real, he's the real king. And because we're ambassadors for him, all right, he's looking out for us. And before this whole thing breaks off, the worst time in the history of the world, all right, Jacob's trouble, he's going to grab us out of here. If we're getting out of here, we're going to go to heaven, okay? And we're gonna miss this stuff. So that is definitely something to look forward to. So don't be discouraged when you start to see this stuff taking place, because it's only encouragement that it's getting that much closer for his return. And that's exactly what we're after. So really crazy though, faster drum beats for this war. It's really taking place, and some people are noticing it, and that's good. Definitely be paying attention to this, because it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. Like, whoa, I didn't think this could happen. I thought it was just talk, and it's not going to be. It's going to be the real deal. And I'm amazed that it hasn't happened already. It's by the hand of God that it hasn't. This stuff looked like it was going to take off in 2015, 2016, 2017. Each time it got slowed back a little bit, but it's springtime. If you're going to do a war, you're going to want to go in as early as possible. That way you can make staging ground, especially if it's a World War situation or whatever. And it's what you do. You don't want to do it in the wintertime, because it's harder to get ground and make camps and stuff like that. But if you can get a good position during spring or early summer, then you can go into a place and you'd be set up if you're going to do it through the wintertime. So, but more stuff's on the scene. Countries. There's going to be, after this happens, there's going to be unification, where it comes to 10 kings that rule under the Antichrist, all right? And we can see that taking place in a lot of different ways. We've seen it before. They don't want things to split up. They want them to come together. So when I see countries talking about coming together, that is when I see that, it's exactly what it looks like, because that has to do with the kings coming together that rule under the Antichrist, okay? It's not it's split up. It's more of a unification. 10 kings ruling. That's why when I saw when Scotland was trying to break off from England a few years ago, I was like, there's no way they're going to let that happen. If this is biblically getting close to the end times, which it does, they're going to want more unification, less splitting. And sure enough, they didn't split off, and then they had the cameras in the room where the piles were, and they were able to zoom in, and they saw that there was split off forms into Scotland being its own country, and they were in the no pile. All right, the whole thing was rigged, just like they usually are. But Trump knows what's going on too. This isn't behind him. I heard when he was down at the wall the other day. I was watching one of the channels. I think it was like Nibiru News or whatever. And that guy's a little bit goofy, but he was reading something, and it was pretty clear in the documents that they were doing a little secret operation. They were getting 16,000 more blades that they're going to hand to FEMA camps that were for guillotines. And we already know they have the guillotines and stuff like that. And FEMA just said recently that don't rely on us when stuff happens, because they're not really here to help us at all. They're going to turn into entrapment camps. And there's multiple different ones. People have seen them before. They'll shut down old schools and stuff like they did in Salmon, Idaho, and then they'll fence it up, and instead of tearing it down and they have wire around it, it's like, well, what are they actually doing, And they'll probably be used later for camps. Some of them are huge, like that one up in Alaska. It's outside of Fairbanks. It holds 2 million people. You don't build a FEMA camp outside of Fairbanks and expect to make it through the winter. These are detention camps made so you don't escape, and it's all real. It's taking place right now. It has been the whole time, right in front of our eyes, but they distract us with so many things that the majority of the public doesn't pay attention to it. Those with eyes, discernment, and eyes to see this stuff that are looking for Christ's return, they can see it take place because it's being revealed to you. You see it every day. But just wanted to get this out, talk about that Syria move. That was kind of a big thing. I saw it the other day. I was like, ooh, that's really interesting. By doing that, it opens up the door for the Gog and Magog to happen, while at the same time it's an excuse to put troops down on the southern border to defend against a southern attack if troops were coming up out of Mexico. So anyways, pretty interesting times we're living in. It's definitely the end of days, and it's getting closer every time. But Anyways, I just want to get this word out, and we'll catch you next time on the Unleashing. God bless. Later.